Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, please press 1. If you can hear me, please press 1 on the chat box. Those who are able to hear me on Workplace, do press 1 as we are live on Workplace as well. Awesome. Everyone can hear me. Great, great. Before we begin, I thought I want to take this opportunity to really wish our friends and families who are having to go through Ramadan. I think Ramadan is tomorrow, the first day of Ramadan. So I would like to wish all those who are going into the Ramadan and a time of a very important time for them. I want to wish them all happy, selamat menyambut Ramadan. I hope this will be a very meaningful Ramadan for all of us, all of you guys who are going through this season of Ramadan. Yeah, so I think it's important for us to acknowledge that all of us go through different seasons, different celebrations, also different rituals that we do to help us to be a better version of ourselves. As we go forward today, our goal today is to talk about follow-up. Follow-up is really an important component in our business. Now, many agents or many people ask me, hey, John, you're not sian, you're not boring. You always talk about follow-up, follow-up, follow-up. Isn't this something boring? Why you keep on doing all these trainings about follow-up? And the short answer to that is this, that if you have not gotten a very high level of results in your business, or you are not consistently having high results in your business, very likely some of us are not mastered the art of follow-up yet, including myself. And I think if you have never mastered the art of follow-up, you never mastered certain things, right? These trainings are to help you to develop the skill sets and also the behavior and the mindset on how to follow up, because follow-up is so important. It is critical. Now, just a quick check into everyone on this chat box. How many of you absolutely really don't like follow-up? And it's okay, I don't like follow-up. Okay, how many of you really don't like follow-up? If you don't like follow-up, please press 5 on the chat box. If you don't like follow-up, just please press 5. Right, come on, keep on coming, guys. What are some of the things that you don't like follow-up about? Put in the chat box. What are the things that stop you from following up? That is deterring you from following up with your clients? What are some of the things? Put in the chat box, please. Anyone? Being ignored. Right, what else? Client don't respond. Right, what else? What are some of the things that you struggle with that stops you from doing the following up activities? What else? Being ignored, client don't respond. Anyone else? Rejection. Great. What else? Anyone in the chat box? Anyone in workplace don't know what to say? Right. Absolutely. What else? Non-stop chasing. Impatience. Right. Great. And all these things are normal. It's natural, guys. So I want to let you all know, for those who are struggling with this, those who have all those things that is being put in the chat box here right now, it is only normal that we feel this way. It is only natural that we feel this way. Nothing is wrong with you and I. It is just a sign that we are all alive, that we are all human beings. Now, I want us to fear of interrupting people's life. Yes. I want to bring you a perspective today, a mindset. What we're planning to do today is I want to go through a couple of messages that I think that I want to share. Then I will have a conversation with Abang Ikhwan from MC2 to talk about his journey in follow-up. But I want to give you a perspective of what I think, how our mindset should be when we follow up, and what is the language that we should be communicating with people. Would that be okay? Can I start now? Marcus, can I please have my slide, please? Thank you. Right. So first and foremost, apologize to the Emerge team. I just looking for a poster of a group of people being very positive, right? So I found this on Workplace. Yeah. So Gary Keller says this: no one succeeds alone and no one fails alone. Pay attention to the people around you. Now, we always talk about this from a real estate agent's point of view. But today, I want you to think about a client's perspective. I want you to think about this particular quote here from a client perspective. So an example is, no client will acquire a property alone. No client will fail to acquire a property alone. No client will be able to acquire a property for investment if there's no advice. Right? So you need to first understand that nobody succeeds alone. No one. your clients, yourself, your team members, your family. Nobody succeeds alone. If you think that everyone can succeed alone, it will not last long. At the same time, no one fails alone as well. Everyone fails together, right? Pay attention to the people around you. I want you to bring this mindset of understanding your client right now, that they want to succeed as well. They want to make the best choice in buying their property. They want to make the best choice or best option in securing the best investment or the home they're buying for the first time or that upgrade, whatever that case might be, right? No one succeeds alone. Now, if you think like that, my first message to you this morning is, do you have the mindset to be that person that is supporting someone so that that person don't succeed alone? Do you have the mindset in helping your client to succeed? That's the first mindset that I think all of us must adjust. And in order for us to have that, these are some of the things that I think our mindset must change, from being a good salesperson to being a consultant, from selling to building relationship. Because you cannot succeed, you cannot be part of this journey with someone to want to help him or her to succeed if there is no relationship. And relationship is basically getting to know that person, understanding what he needs, and helping that person to reach that goal, right? Next slide, please. So I want to share today with you two key things. The difference between building relationships and the other thing is selling. And you get to decide and choose who you want to become. On the left side is relationship. Relationship talks about serving others. The mindset must be correct first, because the mindset will determine the language and the way you communicate and the way you show up as a professional, right? So building relationship requires you to think about how can you serve others. Selling is how can you serve yourself. If I sell this, I will gain this. If you go into the mindset of say, I'm looking to sell this property right now, versus I'm going to find out how can I serve someone better by providing this opportunity. Both are selling, but both have different mindset. Do you understand what I'm going to say? Both are very different. One is serving others, one is serving myself as an agent. And I believe that in order for us to thrive at the highest level in our business, we need to learn how to serve others. Number two, the relationship building person, it's always focused on the people. The selling agent always focuses on selling. They are always focusing on their product. Both different, right? One is focusing on the people that they're serving or people. One is focusing on the product. Third thing is, one is pulling people or drawing people to them. One is pushing people the product. You get to choose which corner do you want. Do you want to be a salesperson, or do you want to be a person that's building relationship? Now, I want to share a quick story here. That how I understand, how I learned about this concept. At a very young age, I was some of you know that I was studying in the US. As I was studying in the US, I actually worked full time in a restaurant as well. That was my first full time job. I always joke with people. My first full time job was working in a restaurant in the US. My second full time job was working in Redfield. So what happened to me that 20 years before I came to Redfield, right? So this is my first full-time job. And there's an old picture I managed to find. In those days, digital camera wasn't available. This was a Kodak camera that I took. If you notice who am I, I'm the youngest person in this particular picture. It's the kitchen of the restaurant that I used to work. This restaurant was called China Village on 4th Street in this location called St. Petersburg, right? The town that I was living in, Florida. We are running a what do you call that? A buffet Chinese restaurant. Now, if you've been to US, Chinese buffet is very common. A lunch buffet costs you $4.95. A dinner buffet costs $6.95, right? And the capacity of this restaurant is about 80 to 100%. Now, my role in this restaurant was like an assistant manager to make sure that the people will fill up the restaurant, and the speed of the dish going out and coming in, right, is important. Now, I learned the whole ropes. I started from the bottom. I was a dishwasher. I was washing dishes in this restaurant. But what I learned in understanding about serving people is that you need to know, when you are running a fast-moving restaurant, the way you communicate and serve the customer is very different. And I learned how to serve fast-moving customer very easily, because it's all about providing the best food fast. The food is to fill up the buffet table as fast as possible. For $4.95, they get 80 different dishes to eat, all they can For lunch is between 11:30 until 2 o'clock. That's the lunch hour for the lunch time for the buffet. You come in, you pay $4.95, you eat all you can. So our goal is to serve by putting all the food and refilling it as fast as possible. Now that was the way to serve the customer, and the way we communicate as customer, don't worry, more food is coming, more food is coming, more food is coming. That was very simple communication, because the service demand was like this. Then when I moved on to a different restaurant where I was working as a waiter, by the way, you make more money waiting tables. I moved on to a restaurant that is serving dine-in customers, and it was located in a location where it's near the beach, where it's a very tourist place. A very beautiful place, by the way. A lot of people who have their own yacht and their own boat parked would sail from a different city or town or country to come in and park at that dock. It's a very famous dock in the US. So I was working in a restaurant nearby that dock, right? Yes, very near to Tampa. It's called St. Petersburg, right? And that restaurant is different. And it was the first time I learned how to communicate with a client, how to ask questions. And my boss, Raymond, was telling me this. He said, John, when you serve this restaurant, you cannot think about how you serve it when you are in a buffet restaurant. You need to create conversation and ask important questions. And because the way the structure of our remuneration was as a waiter is when if you can serve them well and you give them a very good experience and they spend more money, 15 to 20% of the bill becomes your commission or my tips, right? So I was already earning commission and tips at a very young age. This is when I was 21, 20 years old, right? And I learned to ask good questions. I learned to create environment, helping them to give a good experience. Most importantly, in my head, I was not interested to sell them food. I was interested to give them experiences. And I always know that the best experience is always very expensive on the menu. How many of you agree? The best experience in the restaurant, it's always in the menu, the best price or the most expensive product on the menu, right? So I always walk in and he teach me this. He said, John, these people are coming in as a holiday and a tourist. They are not going to come back again tomorrow. This is probably the first time they'll come in, the last time they will come in. So you must give them the best experience. And you must think that if you are here, you must be able to get the best outcome that you can get from this particular customer, because they are not repeated. They are always going to be here once a while or once every year. So with that mindset, the way I think about it is, how can I give the client the best experience? And here's the standard script I use. The most expensive menu or dish on the menu was actually sizzling seafood combo, $18.95, most expensive already. Now, and every time when a client come in, I'll give them the menu. I'll give them, say, take a few minutes and read the menu. But at the same time, let me tell you what's the best thing on this menu that I think you should try to get the best experience when you're in this restaurant. And it's definitely the seafood sizzling combo, right? We have got very fresh seafood. So think about it and let me know. But to me, that's the best experience. If you have never tried sizzling hot plate before, there you go. And in my head, I say it's fresh seafood, right? Actually, it's freshly frozen from the freezer. So, but I didn't say that lah. But I say it's fresh, right? So the goal is to always have conversation with them and give them the opportunity to have the best experience. Now, fast forward, when I came back and think about real estate, right? I switched back that mode in selling real estate, right? How many of us are thinking about giving the best experience to our clients? Or you're interested to sell? How many of you are thinking about giving the best experience to your client, or you're interested to sell? Because that mindset must come in first, because that will determine how you follow up. My follow-up was when I went there and took my check order book and say, what can I get you today? Either I give recommendation or I ask question, what did you feel like having today? I was looking at what can I do to make their experience much better. Right, next slide, please. Can I have the next slide, please? Right, so these are some examples of messages I receive from real estate agents right now. These are very common. They are selling. They're not interested to build a relationship with me, but perhaps to be fair to them, this is what we call examples of messaging or follow-up message that is product-based, that is selling-based. How many of you received this message before? Look at the first one, guys. The first one, dear owner, may I know your Neo Damansara unit plan to land? I don't know how many years I sold that property already. I got ready buyer. Right. Number one, never send a follow-up message that is not true. Rule number one, don't say things that is not true. Right? That is a no-no. And I'm using this example to share with people. Do not go and commit to people that you are buyer ready, you are seller ready, you're all ready, everything ready. But they're just ready in 2 years' time. Right? So do not do things like that. Now, the next two messages you can see is really selling and telling you every single thing about the asset or the property or about the opportunity. Right? Nothing wrong with this, but my question to all of us, is there a better way to follow up? Is there a better way to communicate? Right? Let me show you the slide, next slide, please. Now, this is an example that I personally did recently. I did an ad on Command, selling a property in Mont Kiara. And every time I had a lead come in, this is standard. When I have a lead come in, by being it selling property or recruiting right now, I'm trying selling property as a test run, because as I'm teaching people or teaching the regional team how to do training, I've got to think from an agent perspective as well. And there are some ways I follow up when I'm recruiting agent as well. But my standard mindset is this. The first thing is I must first remind them of what they have encountered with me. Right? So this is an example of a lead coming in from Command, right? Thank you. So I always come from gratitude. Always start the conversation with gratitude. Thank you so much for getting in touch with us by clicking on our ad. By the way, this is the ad that you have clicked. I remind them of what is the encounter they have with me. Now, if you had a viewing with someone, for example, that just viewed, 2 days later or whatever your follow-up time frame that you have set in, send a text message to thank them. How many of you thank your clients for seeing property with you? Do that. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for doing this. Just to let you know, remember that I was the one that showed you this property. So send a picture of the property that you showed him to remind him of this property. Right? Simple follow-up tool coming from contribution, coming from gratitude, reminding him of this opportunity, right? And then you follow up with what other options or what other possibilities that you can to build that relationship. Now, my second message is this. Are you currently looking for an opportunity to own something in Mont Kiara, and would having an update report of location be helpful for you? I was coming from, first thing is you come from gratitude. Second thing, come from contribution. Because a lot of times agents want to go straight into selling this property to them, but you don't know what they need and don't know what they want. Maybe after one viewing, maybe after one phone call. This is something that you can remember. Come from gratitude. Number two, come from contribution. Would you like having an update report? Until today, until at this point in time, I have never sold anything to him yet. I have never shared anything about the product. I have never tell this particular prospect what is it that I want to push. I was looking at giving gratitude and looking at how can I contribute. Now, all I need to do is go to Age Report, create a CMA report for that particular location, and send it to him or her. Now, guess what? I got a message called yes. Why do you think that person replied yes? How many of you would like to receive information and reports professionally done? If you are really interested in buying those properties, or you're really interested in the market to look at properties right now, right? So you are not selling the property. I'm not even going to appointment yet, because I want to make sure I can contribute first. And the third thing is probably not here. Is the third thing is I will then ask for an appointment. I will then set time. First is gratitude. Second is giving contribution. The third thing is when can I have some time with this person to understand how I can help him. Now, I've seen some agents did a remarkable thing. Is the third thing they do is they give them a Google sheet of questions for them to fill up, to ask serious or good questions, so that when the agent meet the client, they're not wasting time. They already know what they need. Now, this is an example of the message. Now, put in the chat box, what's the difference between, can I have the previous slide, please? What's the difference between this message and the message after that? Anyone? What's the difference? Anyone put in the chat box, what's the difference? How many of you think that this is a different approach? What is the pattern and the themes here? What are you getting? If you are today a consumer receiving message from both sides, who would you respond better to? First one or second one? Right. Personalized appreciation. Right. Right. Now, what are some of the things that you notice? What are ahas that you get from these two simple messages right now? Anyone? Put in the chat box. What ahas do you get? Any ahas? Sprint agent versus marathon agent. I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Sprint agents versus marathon agents. Conversations are key. Second, creates a lasting impression. Absolutely. Conversations are key. I like this so much. Sprint agents versus marathon agents. This is a marathon, guys, and our business is about relationship. You don't build relationship overnight. You don't create relationship overnight. Building relationship, understanding, let the buyer see value first. Absolutely. Let them see your value first. What else? What are some of the ahas that you get from these messages? By the way, this is very practical. You can take this approach and go in and start doing it today. Take this approach and go in and start doing it today. And it could be going into all the, now if you look at your database and your appointments on your calendar, the past 2 months, how many viewings have you had with all these people? If you go and touch base with them just like this, as I did, right? With those people that have seen the property with you, you are building relationship. Now, someone mentioned this morning, they don't know what to say, right? They don't understand how to follow up. They don't know what should they use words to say. That's the model that I always do in my follow-up. Number one, gratitude. Number two, contribution. Number three, what are the action that I can get to get that person's time? Different approach, absolutely. Because relationships that needs to be built have to be invested. You've got to invest time and thoughts in how to build relationship. It's the same thing as if you remember you go and court your girlfriend or your boyfriend. You don't ask him to marry you on the first date. You will frighten the person and the person will move away and go away. Right? You don't go and show a house to someone and say, hey, when you want to buy? You want to buy now? You don't do that, right? You build relationship few days before the viewing, and from the viewing, it was that relationship that you have before the viewing that creates the traction and the momentum to get you here, right? Any questions about this messaging that you have today? Put in the chat box this before I move on to speak to our guests. Anybody else got any questions, any thoughts before I move on? Great. So far, if there's no questions, no thoughts, I'm going to move on to our guest here, Abang Ikhwan. Can stop sharing my screen. Abang Ikhwan, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
yeah, Abang, for the benefit of our audience here, we have a lot of audience here that I realize are quite new. Maybe you want to quickly share a bit about yourself and what business and what projects that your team is doing right now to our audience here. Go ahead.
Hi, so my name is Abang Ikhwan. Abang is my real name. I'm from MC2. I have a platform called Legasi. Currently, we have recently acquired 38 Bangsa as our project for this year. And so we're looking forward to working with everyone that is interested to sell projects in Bangsa.
Right. So Abang Ikhwan, in your journey of selling projects, you also sell secondary market as well. What are some of the challenges that you face before we got technology and all that, right? When we are just a manual agent, before command came into place, right? What are some of the challenges that you face in following up or doing business with your database?
Okay, so I became an agent starting in 2013. So back then is actually WhatsApp just started. So we just started WhatsApp. I had a BlackBerry which didn't have a WhatsApp. I think even a bit later than they have WhatsApp. So having to communicate with our clients was mainly through, I remember it was mainly through SMS and also emails. That was our main communication line to our clients. And then when WhatsApp came, then slowly we use WhatsApp as our communication with our clients. And even then, we had to communicate one by one, meaning that we had to start conversation with one client and follow up with each one. So when you start to have more clients, then it will be much more time consuming to have conversations with everyone in one day and for you to follow up every one of your clients. So that was the one of the challenges, I think, back then when we want to follow up our clients.
Right. And what has changed right now from the day you started and right now where we are right now in 2021? What are some of the changes that you have adopted and you have seen, or some technology platform that you have used to help you better you create a better experience for your clients in terms of follow-up?
Um, Before going into the technology part,
Right.
I think the first thing that I think that have I have shifted my mindset, because first at the first place I was really hard selling my clients, meaning whenever I follow up, I will ask them, when are you going to book, when are you going to book. So and then my I as I myself became a buyer, that's I started to buy my own properties, then I can put myself in their shoes, and I understand that if an agent keeps telling me when are you going to book, I will be turned off. I don't want to communicate with an agent that just want commission.
Right.
So I began to understand that. So I have shifted my mindset and changed my techniques to soft selling, meaning we follow up, but then we don't really talk about the thing that we want to follow up about. Um, and this helps with the addition of the new technology. And KW Command has all the follow-up tools that you can use automatically. To be honest, I am still learning about how to use KW Command to follow up my clients. But even if you don't use KW Command, you can still use WhatsApp, where WhatsApp has this broadcast feature. So whenever clients call in, I will save their number uh, and name according to what are they buying and what location are they looking at. And I will save them in a broadcast list according to that project or that location. And I will follow up them in bulk.
Right.
So broadcast, I think I can save about 1,000 numbers per list.
Right.
So I can update them automatically across 1,000 people in 1 or 2 minutes only. So I think KW Command takes it up to another level, where you will when you follow up a client, it's not only through SMS or WhatsApp. You will as a client, you will see the agent in emails, in maybe the Facebook ads, and then you see our name again in SMS. And so we can approach them, uh, or they will see our name a lot
Right.
using KW Command, and that's the point that we want to uh, push to our clients, meaning that we want to foster relationship with the client, and by seeing our messages in emails, messages in SMS, then they will start to trust us more,
Right.
and you can transact better in the
Right.
future.
Can I ask, in your follow-up, like you talk about, that's smart. You have a broadcast list of people based on interest or location or project based, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the messages that you will, or what are some of the ways that you will kind of follow up with them? How do you, what are the messages that you use to follow up these people? Maybe can you give us some examples?
Okay. So, for example, I have a list for my other project in Legasi, Kampung Baru, Kuala Lumpur. So in total, I currently only have 30, 50 people that that have called in, have viewed, but they haven't bought, or have bought one with me. So I understand that the content of the follow up is some trouble to some people. It is something that's hard for me too. Tapi what I did is I learned this from my friend from Unit Trust. So he is an MDRT agent with I think Philips Capital. So very successful, and he has been following up with me. So and his technique is quite unique because he never talks about unit trust. All of his messages are about he's getting this delicious biryani in Jalan in KL. He's eating he's eating something or drinking something, or he's doing tennis, or he's meeting this guy and this guy. So I find that his approach quite okay for me because you he doesn't say much. He just share pictures. So I started doing that also with Legasi. So what I did was I just sent pictures of the project because, for example, last week I did that because I was in vacation around the area. So I just took a picture of the building during sunrise, and I sent it to the list. And then when I go out at night and I'm around the area, I took some more pictures and update them. Okay, this is where the best food is in Legacy, or this takes 20 minutes to walk to KLCC. Those kind of things only are my content when I follow up. I don't talk at all about, oh, there's this unit left, there's 13% extra discount. I don't talk about that unless they ask me.
Right.
When they start to ask me, I know I triggered something. So, for example, when I did the Sunshine last week, I got fresh inquiries from them about the units in Legacy. So I have some prospective business coming up. And I also have some units because the units have, Legacy has vacant possession, I think, last month. So some of the owners want to rent out the units. So I also have rental listings.
Right.
So it's just a simple 2-minute thing that you do every morning, but you can get a lot of things happening after that.
Right. To share with us how many units you sold in that building?
In total, we've sold converted about 50 units. We sold 100 units, but converted 50, so about 50% conversion. Right. Mostly done is actually through our sphere of influence.
Right. So, through the database that you have, that you have, and the people following up. Guys, this is an example that Abang is sharing, right? He's sending messages that it's not boring messages. How many of you like to show? Let me show you a picture of the moonlight view on the building, right? That's about the emotional part of it. It's about being human. There's something that you appreciate, right? Right. What gave you this idea? I mean, you said that your friend gave you this idea, right? About sharing life rather than sharing, pushing a product to clients. What was that major shift that you had in your mind to make this approach?
Number one is when other agents are hard selling me, I feel that it's something that everyone is doing, and I don't feel connected with the agent, and I don't have any. I don't reply to them. I mean, some of the messages we have received almost every week, but then I don't even have the urge to at least reply anything. So right. I myself, I understand as a buyer, so I put myself in the buyer's shoes. So if I don't like that, so most likely my buyers also don't like to be approached that way. So,
Right.
but then if you use those, I'm just triggering their emotions using things that naturally people like. People like sunrise views. People like to know where is the best food around the area. People like to know where is the Instagram location that you can take good pictures at. So those are the things I'm interested. So people will view maybe they don't reply to you, but then eventually as time goes on, they will eventually reply and have some conversation with you, and maybe eventually transact. Another thing that I this is another thing that I just recently learned. People actually look at WhatsApp status. Do you know WhatsApp has a WhatsApp status that you can actually do something like a Facebook story in the
Right.
WhatsApp status?
Right.
People actually have I have some conversion in that when I start updating my WhatsApp status.
Right.
So there are a lot of ways to communicate and build relationship with your clients.
Right.
uh, at the end of the day, we are dealing with people that we have never met before. We have never met our client. Our client have never heard about us. We are not most likely we are not celebrities.
Right.
That and we are not Nilofa. So it's hard to build relationship in the first place, right? So, but then whenever they always see our ads, we have been communicating with them. We understand what they need. When we talk to them, we talk as a person to person. It's not a salesman
Right.
to another buyer. It's a friend to friend. It's
Right.
a consultant. Yeah. So we are in their shoes. We are trying to help them. So, but then we need to be honest about it, and it takes time. Yes, it is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Right. I like it that you say this because it's really all about being connecting with a human being from another human being, right? You must think from that angle. And I like it. I didn't realize this. Thank you for sharing about WhatsApp status, how that changes the conversation because it is true. Sometimes when I get a random message, if I've got time, I will look at this profile, this picture. Who is the person that's messaging me right now? Who is this person? What's his status? Because when your status or your profile show up to me, it's important for me to see whether are you a trustworthy person, are you a person that, but from a perception standpoint, should I have this conversation with you forward? And if I want to go deeper, I may even Google you on phone on online and check you out
Yep.
after the conversation, because then that's what happens, right? Your face on the internet, the way you show up on Facebook, the way you show up on your website or whatever information that you have, it's a what do you call it, a reflection of how serious and how good you look like in your business. Not how pretty or how nice looking you are, but how professional you are and how well thought of you are in terms of your business. I like it. Thank you for sharing. Now I want to go for past, rewind a little bit. You talk about grouping people in different groups. How did it, what helped you to come to this mindset of I must categorize my database correctly? Because what I'm hearing is you are categorizing them based on what you think makes sense to you. Share a little bit about that to us, please.
Yep. So when I think it's quite easy because whenever we cannot remember everyone's interest by just having their name on our address book. So most likely we would need to have some sort of key point that we remember about our client so that we can effectively promote to them whatever our the product that we have. So I think on the simple side, yes, you can already label our clients in our address book. On the advanced side, that's why KW Command has that function where they can label each contact more specifically. So that's actually will help us even better in targeting our clients and targeting our products that we want to sell. So and also sometimes if we just using address book to label, sometimes clients not only want Shah Alam, maybe they are also considering Subang. So in the broadcast list, is I think quite complicated to separate them two, but you can do that in command. So I think it's a good feature. It's just that it takes time a bit to study on how to use it, but once you are familiar with it, I think it will be easier later.
Right, right, and some of the to the audience watching on there, how I think to add on to what Abang is sharing, how sometimes when we categorize them in certain categories, how we then have messages that's curated for those categories, right? And I think that's very important. And there are a few words that I want to share with everyone when you want to follow up or you want to talk about use words like opportunity. Rather than saying that, hey, I've got a product for sale here right now. Are you interested? There's this property for sale right now. Are you interested? But I always ask questions like, are you interested in this opportunity of owning this, opportunity of investing this? Because opportunity is something that people always will be open to think about. So buying a property is not so easy to think about, but opportunity I will explore. So some keywords just to add on there. How about Abang Ilmo, what are some of the messages that you use right now? Besides pictures, how about some text messages that you use? Certain text or certain words or certain sentences or certain phrases that you normally use to create that conversation? What would you do? What would you use normally?
Okay, to be honest, I don't use text or scripts so much in following up. Mainly, I am using pictures or videos because I think those content can describe a lot more things as compared to just the words I'm using. So, for example, I will just send if let's say there is a unit that is when I start to get in the mode of selling, then I will pictures. But then when they start to communicate, then I will just directly use the direct script lah. I don't have really any particular scripts to do that. Yes.
Right. So you show them a video of whatever video you take, either a TikTok video or a simple half 1 minute video about the property. Is that what you say?
It's mostly a 30-second video. Okay, let's say I'm selling a KLCC view. So I'll just show the view.
Right.
I'll just say, oh, so nice waking up in the morning and see this view. I don't say anything else. But if it clicks with them, then they will say, okay, how much? So
okay. Then the conversation starts. The conversation starts like that, right? Right.
Yes.
So when you do all these videos and all that, is something that you do a lot on a daily basis by yourself, or do you like have professional people helping you? How do you do this?
Again, the current technology now, you can just use your handphone. People are actually creating content using their handphones, and I think iPhone already have a very good camera. So it's just a matter of you taking that, knowing the opportunity to take the video or the picture and having the idea of sharing it with your prospective clients. You don't need any editing. You can you can edit them. I mean, that's no issue. But then if you don't have time, just take a simple video. I think it will mean a lot to our clients, and they also are looking for interesting things to see on their handphone actually. So we are just helping them to see, okay, this is the KLCC view, this is the other view, this is the sunrise, this is the sunset. And you don't I mean, if you can have a professional to do that for you, I mean, that's good. Tapi if you're just starting out, just a simple 15-second, 30-second video is basically enough.
Right. Thank you for sharing that. Just to add on that, the latest Hootsuite data showed that 99% of people aged 16 to 64 is watching one video per day on their mobile device. One video per day, average 99 in Malaysia, by the way, in Malaysia. So
Okay.
the video content is probably one of the best follow-up approaches that you can have with your
Yep.
client. Let's have one last final question about Ikhwan before we go to a Q&A to everyone in the room. What are some of the technology platforms that, or even in command, what are some technology stuff that you are thinking of doing or you're in the process of doing right now for the purpose of better follow-up or better database management?
Okay, one thing that I'm trying to do now is it related? Maybe it's related. Okay, coming back to the issue of, okay, what do you follow up with your clients, right? So eventually you will be running out of sunrise pictures lah. There will be a limit to it. So I am looking at actually having a YouTube channel, because that's actually one way of communicating with your clients, but then without selling them anything. You can update them with your latest videos, and that's enough for your communication with your prospective clients. They know you're doing property. They know you are doing something. I mean, you're updating thing. So it's a way of not only, I mean, you are having, having a YouTube channel is something that one is you can show trust to your clients. So because people see your face all the time then in your YouTube channel, so indirectly you will get the trust. When they Google you, they see you in the YouTube channel, they know how you speak, they know how you look, then they will trust you better. And also you can use that as an update in your 33 touch, for example. Hey, this is my new video on YouTube. Come and follow. To say and clients after all the sunrise pictures that you have posted before. So you have more things to share with your clients. Another thing is okay. Maybe for example, I can compare with KFC, our favorite chicken brand, right? So KFC, if you notice, they have the normal chicken, but then they also have like every 2-3 months they change another. There is another menu.
Yep.
Either it's ayam percik or ayam rendang. They always change ayam salted egg. So they always change the menu. So the reason they do that, number one is to show to people that it's not always the same menu. So there's something new, right? So number two is actually they use that to follow up with their clients, meaning that there are new things. Okay, I have something new. I want to share with you. So please come. All of the ever changing chicken menus don't usually, it's not really always successful. Some people like this, some people don't like. But then it's a way to show to clients, us, that hey, there's something new, please come. So it's almost the same as a property agent. If let's say I'm always talking about legacy all the time, people will get bored with me. So I need to be talking about something else also, so that there's something new to offer, right? So if I can give that value to my clients, then they will be interested to be in communication with me for a longer time, because really this is relationship, right? Relationship, if it's only if it's boring, then it doesn't work,
Right.
right? You need to keep our relationship interesting, right? So that's why I'm thinking about YouTube channel. I'm thinking about prices, something during maybe update them during their birthdays. Yesterday, I think I had a view with my client who recently had her first child. So I was giving her a present for the child. So yeah, we are building a relationship. It's a long term, takes investments of time and energy and effort and money. But in the long run, at the end of the day, we are all human, and uh, of course, we hope that everything that we invest will have some return. But I mean, yeah, we just hope for the best lah. It's a marathon. Hopefully, we can finish the 40 kilometers lah, 42
Right.
kilometers. Yes.
And thank you very much. Any questions on the chat box? Let's give another 5-10 minutes because we have about 5-10 minutes time. Anyone got any questions to ask Abang or myself? Put in the chat box. Or any ahas, any thoughts that you have gotten from this quick session today, our regular Power Monday about follow-up, right? Building relationship. Anyone got any questions, any thoughts? Please put in the chat box, either you're on workplace or if you are on Zoom here right now. Anybody got any questions, please post it on the chat box here quickly. Anyone? And I want to just add on, I echo so much about the YouTube channel. I think all agents should have a YouTube channel because if you create content, follow-up becomes easy because it's just share. Videos, a picture paints 1,000 words, right? They say videos, if you are struggling with texting or writing messages, sharing contents, videos, pictures, right, are probably the easiest follow-up tool to have. And that's why the whole region of Malaysia of KW have our own regional YouTube channel. We have over 100 over contents and it's adding on. And guess what? If today I'm recruiting an agent who is struggling with follow-up, I'm going to send them a link of this particular video as a value creation for them to think through and look through the value that we are teaching our agents, right? So these are simple tools that you and I today can create on how we can follow up and how we can create value, right? Any questions, any thoughts, any ahas you got from this session today, guys? Please share this so that all of us are able to resonate with what we are talking. Has been a helpful session for everyone, guys. Please put in the chat box right now. Okay, there's a question from Evelyn Abang. Would some prospect feel like the messages is too personal considering they do not know us at the start? The question is for you, Abang. Can you see that on the chat box?
Okay. So yeah, I mean, this is the art of following up. There's no black and white. So if it's at the start, then you have to have levels to it, right? So if it's just you're meeting them in the first time, then don't be too personal lah, and you have to build up your relationship. I was giving gifts and everything because I've known the owner for 1 year. 1 year plus I've been communicating with the owner for a long time, so I can do that. So yes, being too personal might deter people away, might push people away. But at the end of the day, is as long as they don't block you, then it's okay.
Right.
Yeah, if they don't block you, that means I mean they still like what you are sending. So if they block you, then you understand lah. You have pushed the wrong buttons lah.
Right, and you learn from it, right? What are some of the messages that you use? Let's just follow up from there. What are some of the messages that you use for a first-time person that you're meeting or the first-time person you're following up? What are some simple things that you do? Just a picture of the property, or what are some things that can you just share with us specifically for people who are new?
First of all, I mean, it's good that you can send a picture of yourself, and also on WhatsApp, advisable to have your own picture, not my picture in your WhatsApp, your picture. Your own picture. So that's already creating trust. And most probably in the early stages, you are just talking about the property. You're just talking about simple stuff that's not too personal. But then as time goes on, maybe at the end of the day, you want to show we are all professionals and we know a lot of things actually. We just want to show that to them because there's no certification to show to them. Okay, we are specialists in this area. So we not communicate them with if we just tell them about I'm a specialist in Shalam, let's say, they can or don't believe you. They can believe you or they don't believe you, right? So it takes some time to build up to that. So among the things that people like to see is, let's say, if you have sold something in a particular area, share that with the other prospect, right? If you have sold in a condo in Mont Kiara, recently sold for 2 million, right? So just share with all your prospects. Hey, I have sold this recently sold this for 2 million. If you are interested to sell your property, you can contact me. Or just without that sentence also is enough, because it's very powerful, because it's already showing that you are very good. It's showing that you are a capable agent without telling it directly. Yeah. So from there you can get other prospects also when they know. And then as owners, if they know that you have sold a property in their area, then they will trust you more, right? So it's easier for you to contact them and to get a listing, and maybe it's easier also for you to advise them, and they will also listen to you because they understand that, okay, this guy has been doing a lot of business here, and we just need to show them, right, and build that trust. Otherwise, again, if they don't see anything online about you, right, then they also don't trust you, right? Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I think we've got to be proud of what we have done. We've got to show that, demonstrate to people and tell our story as an agent in our area. I saw a house in SS2 last week. Now, if you're interested to find out how to price a property correctly, let me know. That's a good poster to add. I saw someone very smartly put that in. I recently sold a house in Subang Jaya last week. By the way, if you're interested to find out what's the good price strategy for your property, let me know. That to me is a great follow-up message. It's simple, but it shows that you are working at a very high level. I see some agents showing to people that, thank you for helping me to go through my first quarter of 2021. This is the number of listings I have. This is the number of transactions that I did. If I can help you and serve you, please let me know. Now you've got to show people the language of real estate, right? What are you doing and what you have achieved in the business right now? And you may not have much transaction right now. You might say that I have 260 listings in this location. I have 50 listings in this location. So how you communicate that to demonstrate to people that you are good at what you do, or you want to be good at what you do, makes a lot of difference, right? Thank you for sharing that, Abang Ikhwan. Any last questions? If there's no last questions, can I have the announcements? We've got a few announcements to add on for this week, as we have some changes, right? Just very quickly, on the 14th, we will be starting second sessions of the regional training moving from this week. And this week theme, as you can see that we're doing follow-up, lead generation is probably the next thing that we want to get in. And maybe people ask me, why lead generation again? But because if you're not hitting our sales at the highest level in our business right now, likely we have not mastered the art of lead generation. And it's a continual art. So we are very grateful to have both Jonathan Kwok and Ashley Wong from MC1 to share with us the best practices to improve the current lead generation process. Again, this is a current process that's ongoing, so do sign up. If you are a guest on this call, please sign up on the chat box here. If you are from KW Malaysia or Redfield, please, you will get your latest updates from your market center support every day. Next slide, please. Okay, again, we are doing touch up. If you are struggling with content or struggling with scripts to follow up with your client, the National Consumer Campaign is an ongoing campaign that we have committed to every agent in our system, in our company, to create messages, pictures, and also text messages to help you follow and build relationship with your clients. Right. So this is ongoing, and we are actually having a challenge or a competition right now. Next slide, please. We are having a competition where those who have the best response on social media and the best response on messaging will gain a prize. The weekly prize is $50 to run their campaigns. And at the end of the whole competition, which is on the 27th of May, whoever has the most likes or the most engagement on their messages will win a grand prize of $200 to run their campaigns. I want to announce the winners that we have for last week. Can I have the slide, please? Now, last week, I'm proud to announce Mr. Ganesh Mahindran from MC1 and Winnie Chong, who is always helping us in our business in Command, right? Both they won the championship last week. I'm sorry. Both of them will get $50 in campaigns credit. So please reach out to Yun Ching in the regional team. Yun Ching, if you just put your email here so that people can reach out to you, both Winnie and Ganesh, that you guys can claim your prizes this week. Okay, so congratulations to Winnie and Ganesh for succeeding at the highest level in trying their best to do follow-ups and using the consumer campaign to touch the customers. Okay, next slide, please. Now you'll be hearing a lot about technology, about Command and all that. If you're still new or you are wanting to explore back about using Command, especially campaigns to run your business, please get in touch with Lucas. Lucas, there's a link here right now in the chat box. If you have not set that up, please make an appointment with him so that he can personally set up with you in a group or personally to make sure that your campaigns and your Facebook or your Command is set up properly for you to drive lead generation digitally, right? So thank you very much, guys. Next slide, please. Okay, we are coming to the end of the session. Abang, any last advice to all of us here today? Any last advice?
Following up is the difference between a good agent and a superb agent, a million MREA agent. The way we follow up will determine whether you can scale up your business or just maintain your business as is. If you can just adjust the way you follow up, if the technology part is too overwhelming for you, you can do it manually, I think that's quite easy. But then just changing the way you follow up, because the agents that are hard selling, we know that we are receiving messages from them every week, but other agents are not saying hi to us. A simple hi, I'm still in real estate. How many times that you have gotten messages from your own friends saying, hey, are you still a real estate agent? That's actually an indication that you have not been promoting yourself properly. And we don't need to say every day, hey, we are an agent, we are a real estate agent, but just showing your activities on your social media, showing that you are doing some viewings, or showing this beautiful house, the way they renovate it is superb. Maybe you can use that in your own house, right? So you, by updating your activities as a real estate agent, it's actually a way for you to follow up also. So do that, and hopefully by just changing this one thing about your business will help you to scale up your business to a better place. That's it, I think, for me.
Thank you for sharing, Abang. My last advice to everyone in this room and in workplace, think about your business as having a lot of good relationships with a lot of people. That's it, period. Think about that. Think about a restaurant that keep having a lot of people coming into the restaurants, and it's always full. I went to a restaurant recently when I had a staycation with my son during school holiday, my wife. There's this Chinese, but again, it's not halal, but you all can Google it. It's a restaurant called Hai Di Lao. I'm going to write. So can someone put a chat box Hai Di Lao? A very famous steamboat restaurant. They are in Pavilion. They're in Wang Utama. And when I went, there was probably one of the best experience I had in a restaurant that I never had before. Those who have been there, if you understand what I mean, it's so customizable and that creates so much relationship with me that there is someone standing next to me at my table helping me to get my things done. They are trying to ask, what's the best experience are you having? What can I do to serve you better? And it's all about serving others, right? So if you want to understand how to build good customer relationship, go to this restaurant, Go and wait 1 hour and you see what people are willing to wait 1 hour, 2 hours outside of the restaurant for a seat to have that experience. And it's not cheap, by the way, it's not cheap, right? Because everybody wants a good experience with connecting with another human being, period. Everybody wants a good experience in connecting with another human being. And you and I today, who are in real estate, have that privilege and honor and the opportunity to support and help people to go through their journey in real estate and connecting with them. I hope at this session has helped you kickstart this week positively in our Power Monday to think through about the people that you want to connect again this week. So think through right now, your action step this week is write down a list of people that you want to connect. Now, if you don't know who you want to connect, look at your calendar the past 2 months. Who have you met or who have you shown a property to? Connect with them properly. And I hope that you will get a better business outcome as we progress this month. Thank you very much, guys. Have the good rest of the day. Thank you, Abang, Ikhwan. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. See you all next week. Thank you very much.
You got a great car, yeah, what's wrong with it today? I used to have